Bring the meeting of the Borough of Monaca regular council meeting for January 12, 2016 to order. Will everybody please rise for an invocation and remain standing for a flag salute. Mr. Margell.
Thank you, President Brewer. Father, we beseech you to bless this council as we start on our journey going into the new year for 2016. We ask that our dollars go to where they need to go and are spent wisely, that the problems are minimal and the benefits are in abundance. We ask that you protect our borough workers, our highway, water, and sewage treatment people, our police officers, our volunteer firefighters, the mayor, council, and all those who represent the borough of Monaca to do the business of borough of Monaca, not for their own interests, but for thy will, and thy will be done. Amen.
Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dawn, roll call.
Mr. DiMarzio,
Present.
Mr. Rossi,
Here.
Mrs. Rossi. Here. Mr. Wilson,
Present.
Mr. Mulder,
Here.
Mr. Schotter,
Present.
Mr. Zigarelli,
Here.
Mr. Michael,
Present.
Mr. Snyder, President Brewer,
Present.
Mayor Annaline.
Present. Visitors, comments in regards to items on the agenda. Does anybody have any comments in regards to items on the agenda? Communications, Marianne?
No communications, Mr. President.
At this time, I need a motion to approve regular meeting minutes of December 28, 2015.
So moved.
Second? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion to approve reorganization meeting minutes of January 4th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Physical and contractual monthly, I need a motion to approve monthly bills.
So moved.
I'll second it. Any question on the motion? All in favor?
I'm sorry, I did have a question.
Okay.
Never mind, I got that answered, Mr. Young answered it, thank you. I apologize.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Mayor's report?
The total number of citations and warnings is 94. The total calls for service was 181. Total monetary receipts for the month of December 2015 was $3,769.61. Also attached, you'll find a synopsis of the year 2015 attached to that for your use. Thank you.
Is there any questions on the mayor's report? Thank you, Mayor. Manager's report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. First item of business that I'd like to bring to the attention to council as well as the public is part of our participation in the MS4. And some of you are aware that we do that annual advertisement with the county and all the municipalities. The MS4 stands for Separated Stormwater Sanitary System. I believe there's the 4 S's, but primarily it's addressing stormwater. Part of the formality of us to staying in compliance, we have to do public comment sessions similar to what I'm doing right now, raising attention to the importance of the stormwater system and trying to eliminate pollutants from getting into these storm sewers, such as litter and everything. And it's in protection of our streams and rivers, and obviously we all want to see clean water and aquatic life thrive. So there are they up on the podium, Dawn? So we'll circulate. What we're asking is all of the residents in attendance, if you would kindly take a copy of it, please read it. On the back of the form, there are some questions. We would appreciate your feedback. There's also a section asking if you have any interest in volunteering and assisting the borough in maintaining compliance with this. We will be receiving a audit by the DEP in regards to our compliance that will be conducted here at the borough on January 21st. This is the first time that they actually are making sure that municipalities are complying with the regulations. It's a courtesy audit. They will come in and point out any deficiencies the borough may have, and anything that we're doing correctly, they will also acknowledge. Once again, this is a friendly audit that's coming in on January 21st. After this, they will have the ability to come in spontaneously and do it similar to what they do in the sanitary system as well as the water system. And if they find deficiencies in our procedures, we can be assessed penalties. So we are going to strive to do our best here at the Monaca Borough to stay in compliance with this. You'll also find additional education on our website, and we intend to circulate continual educational information in your water bills for potential newsletters that are coming forward. So, and then the next item is the CDBG block grant. Those applications are coming due. Once again, typically we would do curb ramps with the money, of $50,000 request to the county commissioners. The last 3 years, we've utilized our request for monies to go towards the elevator at CJ Mansion. Without any specific projects on the horizon, unless someone on council can think of something, I would suggest that we maybe authorize the engineers to move forward with proceeding with submitting an application for curb ramps, the amount of $50,000. And they typically run around $3,000, $3,500 per curb ramp. So do the math, and that's how many curb ramps we'll be able to replace. Again, these monies are projects would have to comply with the income thresholds. So if we wanted to do a project that we thought would qualify under income, so we would have to do those surveys, and I believe those surveys have to be completed by the end of this month. We really haven't had a huge success in going for those. We've been more successful in applying for projects that adhere to improvements in ADA compliance. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report unless there's any questions.
Does anybody have any questions on the manager's report? Okay, we'll move on to the solicitor's report. Attorney York, you have anything?
No, but I understand you may have something for executive session?
Yes. Department reports. Danny's busy on the highways. Everybody has a report for the water. Mr. DeJoven, wastewater treatment plant.
Yes, and, good evening. Congratulations to the newly elected council people. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Honorable Mayor, Mr. Leone, Solicitor Yurek, ladies and gentlemen of council, Kurt DeJoven, Operator Monaca Wastewater Treatment. Brief report for December 2015. The treatment plant was in compliance for the month. Sanitary waste hauling and processing. Total receipts for the month were $7,136. Going to give you guys a little bit of information. Total receipts for 2015 were $114,560. We make a lot of money down there. However, little caveat with that, under the new permits, our friends at the DEP are going to make that a little bit difficult for us on with the new permit. They're gonna require us to sample each and every load that comes in. Obviously, that's gonna be cumbersome. I'm looking into the logistics of that. We do not have the lab capacity to do that, so I'm currently talking to Microvac or CMA, trying to determine how we're gonna actually do this, if we wanna keep this, obviously we wanna keep this, this cash count coming in, but they're gonna require us to sample each and every load that comes in. We will in turn charge the vendors, and they will pass the laboratory costs off to their clients. So, just want to give you a heads up. We will make more money, obviously, because we did raise the rates this year. We raised it a whole 2 cents a gallon, so I don't see any end in the near future. We're currently starting to take products from the Shell site as well, so I just don't see this number, tailing off. I see it, rising in the future. We're one of the few sites that are currently, still taking septic products, so, yes.
Is there a question, wait till he's done with his report?
Sure, it was specific to that.
Okay.
Belt press operations, the press was in operation for 6 days during the month. Total disposal costs were $2,791.64. You may be aware that the sludge contract, starting January 1, the disposal cost went up as well, about 23% for disposal cost per ton. Safety, we really did not have time to conduct a formal safety meeting during the month. However, safety and safety practices are constantly discussed. Finally, personnel, all personnel have met their contractual obligations regarding employment for the month of December 2015. Questions?
Sure.
Yes, my question was in regards to that. If we were doing sampling every load, are loads being taken down on Saturday and Sunday?
That's the logistics. How are we going to do this? Obviously, we have a really good rapport with Mr. John. Mr. John provides us quite a bit of service, to the borough at no cost for a lot of the different events that we have in the borough. So I'm looking at ways that we might be able to accommodate them. The problem is the sampling that we have to do the whole time on any given sample is 24 hours. So we have to find a laboratory that can conduct that analysis within that 24-hour period. So.
I mean, that's the point I was coming across. If we are going to outsource it, will that lab be open on a Saturday or Sundays? So there we go.
And the vendors are aware because they know that this is coming down the pike, because every treatment plant that does, Alcosan, and there's only a few other ones, they're getting the same thing. It just so happens that we're in our renewal cycle of our permit, which should be coming in any day, and it's going to be stringent. I've been talking to different operators in Allegheny County, and the DEP they're getting difficult. They're going to require a lot more sampling. Mr. Leone mentioned clean streams and freshwater fish. They want the Ohio River to be drinkable, I think. And I think, almost to a point of just lunacy, in my opinion.
So the last question to that question is, we're working with Mr. Sadak and Wingmer on that, on the sampling.
No, not as of yet.
Okay.
Not as of yet. This is just something that I'm looking into right now. The documentation, the trail that we're going to have to document, even though I document it now, and it's all reported to the DEP, there's a ton more paperwork that's going to have to be required. I already spoke with Dawn. I said, guess what? Guess who's going to have to help me with paperwork reporting septic volumes? Remember that little conversation we had? So.
Thank you.
All right.
Is there any other, Jeff?
Yeah, Kurt, time frame on the sampling. Say a truck rolls in, we get a sample before they empty. Lab time frame?
24 hours. We have 24 hours to get that to the lab. And it has to
Wait a
be.
minute, are you saying they're gonna dump first? We're
Well,
gonna take
no.
a sample and they're gonna dump?
Well, we only allow respectable vendors down there. We don't allow any fly-by-nighters down there. I've weeded those people all out. We typically only have 4 vendors that we allow in the facility now. And they all know the rules. They know that their privileges will be revoked at any given time that they would bring anything detrimental to the process. So given that, okay, they would bring their whatever load they would have. They would have to sample that load, we would put that sample on ice, they would have to fill out a chain of custody with that, and then that sample would have to be taken to the lab, or the lab courier pick that up within 24 hours.
But that has to be cleared before they can unload that truck.
Not necessarily, not necessarily. There's no way to do that. This way, and the test that we do is a 5-day test, so it's a ridiculous thing, but the DEP wants a way to find out if we have violations, to be able to go back through the paperwork and say, aha, this is who caused our problems.
Does that jeopardize the borough though, by letting them dump before they get cleared?
It's a catch-22. You know, we either make the money, you know, and most of this stuff is residential, you know, or holding tanks. So it hasn't hurt us. There was only one violation in 2015, and we isolated that. We determined who it was, and we eliminated that account. It did cause a violation. It was cited in the MOV that we received. So.
Is there any other questions for Mr. DeJoto? Thank you, Mr. DeJoto. Okay, there's a neighborhood service report in the packet also. New business. Before we move forward, there's new people on council. Would you explain this motion to reject the bids, Mr. Leo?
Yes, we had advertised bids for Analine Park, and when we tabulated all of the low bids, it exceeded our current projected budget for the project. So the architects are redeveloping new specs. We're cutting it out and going to re-advertise it with those items removed from the bid process.
Okay, well, I'll need a motion to reject all bids for Analine Park project.
So moved.
Second?
Question? Is that in the packet, the list we're gonna reduce to, Mary?
No, we're still working on that. And then when we come before council to ask you to re-advertise the project, we'll tell you what items are being striked out. Some items we're gonna put on as a potential add deduct, so that it gives us flexibility to be able to package the project into our anticipated budget. After we encountered this problem, we did go back to DEP, DCNR. We explained to them our scenario. They did come forward and offer to give us up to $50,000 if the borough would match the equivalent of that. So we were in about a $300,000 project. This will put it to about a $400,000 project, and that's including your architect and engineer's fee. So when you strike those out, you probably only have about $370,000 for actual physical construction. That project came in, if you add up all the prices on a low bid, it was $475,000. So there was some glitz to it. Some of the facade that was packaged into it, it was expensive. So those items, instead of having this paneling, it'll probably just be block faced. So these are some of the green roof. The green roof component was approximately $80,000. Now when you take that green roof off, there's going to be some costs added in, because now that you're taking the green roof structure, you've got to put in a roof component to it. So they're working on all that. And I anticipate, hopefully at the next meeting, our last meeting in January, to present something to you, hopefully. If not, first meeting of February.
Does that affect the granite all pulling that green roof?
No, that was one of our concerns, because one of the reasons that we scored and got some additional points was the green component. Of course, that they would love to see that part still remain to it, but they understand the logistics, and with the time that we have in it, ultimately they want to see the need of the facility accomplished. So they're willing to waiver that. Structurally, we're not going to change any of the structural or engineering of it. So it could be possible to seek a grant further down the road to add the green roof if we so desired. And the structure will support that component. We're not going to go and redesign and engineer the entire building because you're going to spend a lot of money in engineering design and kind of defeat the purpose.
What's your guesstimation it's costing us a year not having that building as far as, not just convenience, but I'm saying the porta-johns, whatever, I mean.
Not much. We had porta-johns there even when the building was there. It wasn't safe to use. So when it was there, it wasn't being used anyway.
No, I'm saying
That's why
it's costing us now. I mean, I'd like to see the building get up and running.
Yeah,
I really would.
but it still cost us because the old system had a reserve tank that we had to have
Right.
pumped out. So
Exactly.
instead of paying for that service to come and pump that tank out, we rented porta-johns. The new structure will have it'll go into our sanitary system, so we won't have a disposal cost. It'll just be going into our system. Kurt will be processing it for us at no cost.
Sample that, Kurt.
Is there any other questions?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion to approve resolution number 1-16, designating signatures for First Commonwealth Bank. This is for the new officers, so we can sign checks. I'll need a motion on that.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion to approve resolution number 2-16, designating signatures for Huntington Bank.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Motion to approve resolution number 3-16, designating signatures for West Banco.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Do you want to explain Whitmer Engineering?
Actually, I can, and Kurt, please feel free to interject from it. These are annual NPDES permits that have to be done to stay compliant. Whitmer typically does these for us, and they agreed to continue the cost at $1,600 for each of the two tests.
You have anything, Kurt?
Yeah, actually, one is the annual pre-treatment report, and the second is the Chapter 94 report. So they are two distinctly different reports.
Got a question?
Yeah, just for my own understanding, if you were to have to do this on your own, what would you guesstimate hour-wise it would take you to do this? Just wild mark.
Honestly, I don't have the time to
Okay.
do this. That's why we just, they're engineering level reports.
Okay.
Is what they are.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to authorize Whitmer Engineering to complete reports to them for NPDES permit at a cost of $1,600 each.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Any questions?
Is this
All-
the same as last year?
Yes. I believe they maintained the price the same as last year.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Motion to appoint 2016 Beaver County Regional Council of Governments primary delegate, John Boer.
So moved.
Second.
Here. Here.
Any questions?
It doesn't say John Boer, Mr. President.
It does.
Yes, it does. And I'm president of that also.
Read the whole sentence.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to appoint 2016 Beaver County Regional Council of Governments alternate delegates, Dan Zigarelli and Derek Wilson.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Anybody have anything on old business? John is going to be working on the old business list.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. I don't know why, but I do. And I apologize to council, I have no excuse. I'll get that to you. Perhaps I can get it down to the borough office and have it dispersed from there, but you'll get copies here very soon. Thank you.
Executive committee, Mr. Wilson, chairman.
Yeah, last night we had a brief meeting that the members went over the old proposal for the employee contract and the new proposal for the employee contract, which we'll discuss the findings of that in the executive session later. That was it.
Thank you. You have a question on it?
Concerning the executive committee, when we talked about forming this, you yourself told me there would be a representative from each ward. And that person from each ward who attended the meeting would report back to the other councilmen in that ward to keep everybody abreast of the situation, what was at hand. And at this point in time, Fifth Ward taxpayers have no representation because we have 2 members of First Ward and no one from Fifth Ward. So
But they are represented because we all represent every ward.
I understand that, but that wasn't the original idea you presented to me of why to form this executive board.
And after every executive committee meeting, there will be minutes kept and they will be distributed to all 10 council members.
Okay, can I ask you why we changed our mind as far as having a representative from each ward?
Because
Mr. Boer.
Because I reevaluated who I wanted on the committee, and as president, I'm in charge of putting who I wanted on the committee. And that's what I did, and I'll ask that we let to see how it works out and move forward with it.
I didn't receive a phone call from anybody. I mean, I thought the objective was to have the meeting, inform the other 5 who were not in attendance. And
You're being informed tonight in the executive what happened.
I'll speak in regards to no one being informed last night. The meeting didn't end around 9:30, and since it was going to be discussed with the employees of the borough, Ms. Marino was given the information to go back to provide that to the union, and then we knew that since we had a meeting today, it would be discussed in the executive session. That would be the best time to get it instead of emailing it out to all the members when we don't have an answer back yet from the employee. Subsequently enough, since then, I've been in the hospital since 1 a.m. in the morning, so unfortunately, I couldn't type any notes.
Move on to citizens' comments, complaints, and compliments. Does any citizens have anything?
Good evening, guys. Thanks. Jeff McKay, 1222 Virginia Avenue, Monaca. I guess there was some discussion about EMA, the reorganization meeting. Just to let you know, this is my 20th year as a coordinator. It was asked that if something would happen, what would be done. Just like anything else, if the president isn't there, vice president steps in. I have a deputy, which is Chief Patorce, who would step in, and I have a staff of 12 other people that respond, and the mayor knows, and you've been there, John, seen some of the drills. I take care of the emergency operations plan and the operations center, which is here right now. And the other thing that I would like to talk about is the one that was down at CJ. Excuse me, many meetings today. If we could get down to looking about getting that generator hooked up to that other room. It's been 2 years since we had that room, and I know we've been waiting for the elevator and stuff like that. And Mr. Loney and I talked about that generator, if we can just get it tied into that room and get it looked at. The other thing, I've been to hazard mitigation meetings. which we need to attend at least 2. And I've been there to be part of the county hazard mitigation plan, which will be a 5-year plan. Part of this plan is to find funding. Your MS4, combined source review projects, along the river, if we have erosion washing away the river, if we have landslides that we know we need to get built up, these are projects that you can submit in this hazard mitigation. If we don't participate in this program, which we will be participating, if there was a federally declared disaster, you probably wouldn't be eligible, well, you will not be eligible for any funding if we don't get part of this program. I've been submitting information to Mr. Long, and we'll continue to get that done. And that is being done by a company called Tetra Tech, and they were contracted through the county with FEMA now. That's basically, I just wanted to let you know about that you have another program to fix some things like the MS4s and the hillsides or anything like that, anything that has to do with hazard mitigation. New Brighton, I think in North Swiftly, New Brighton had like 3 or 4 homes near the river because they're constantly in a flood area. They came in and the homes weren't as worth as much as they got for these homes. What they did, they relocated these people instead of having them file claims all the time for flooding of the Beaver River. So there has been success stories here in Beaver County on those programs. So if in the event that you don't get funded for one, just keep submitting them every year. So, and one might come our way. So does anyone have any questions about EMA? Oh, June 14th is one of your meeting nights. That will be our drill with the Beaver Valley Power Station. That will go from 4 p.m. till could be 9:30. It all depends on what happens during the drill. We will need this room, and unless we get into the other facility down at CJ. I have to submit plans to FEMA by March 18th if we're going to be able to use that room down there because it has to go through a relocation. I have to submit by March 18th municipal plans, and part of it is relocation of the Emergency Operations Center.
And you just need the generator to...
The generator will need to be tied in. The internet line, the internet, and the telephone line. I got a $50 antenna that I put up for the TVs to receive the news broadcast. We got 19 HD TVs or stations. So, but yeah, I just want to make sure you knew about that date because it's on the same night as council meeting in June 14th. And everyone's invited to attend to see what goes on at that meeting and how the operation works in the event of an incident at the Beaver Valley Power Station. All right, any questions?
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, I'll be getting this on the website for you for stormwater.
Are there any other citizens? Please state your name and address.
My name is Robert Mazanka. I live at 1628 Beaver Avenue. I got 2 things tonight. First one is the Fall Fest. I was told to give you until January meeting, and I've been waiting patiently. I'd like to know what's going on.
I have put Mr. Schroeder in charge of that committee.
Oh, okay.
So if you would like to help out with it, please contact him.
The other thing is the house at 1620 Beaver Avenue. I filed several complaints about this house. This house is deplorable. There's a big hole in the back of the house. The garage door is now falling off of the house, and yet the house still remains.
Mario or Dawn, do you have anything on that?
He did make a complaint on it. The complaint was forwarded to the NSO officer, and I would have to check on the status of it. I visited the property personally myself. It is in horrible condition. I can attest to that.
Robert, is it 1620 or 1640?
The gray house, 1620 would have to be, right?
That's good.
Yeah.
924.
The only reason I asked is on,
1620.
on the code enforcement report, 1640 is listed on 3 different pages as,
Well, 1640 is also a house that's
Okay.
further up the street that has
No
no
problem.
foundation walls. And that's also been reported. But 1620, we're actually getting rodents on our property, and I live 2 doors away from it. Okay? I'm not allowed to shoot the rodent. You know, I'm not gonna let rodents overtake my house. I can tell you that right now.
Understand.
So if we could get that taken a look at and
Well,
get
yes,
some kind of solution. Thank you.
thank you. Any other citizens? Citizen section is now closed. Announcements?
No announcements this evening?
I jumped over. Executive session to discuss judicial sale properties, discuss legal, King's Pool and Spa matters, and discuss personnel contract negotiations, contract negotiations. Need a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go into executive session.